And it's over to you, Joel.
All right, thank you. Let's see, I got it here. Get rid of that. Good afternoon. I'm Joel Jenkins. I'm a marine surveyor like most everybody else in the room. And I just want to start out by thanking everybody here that we can get together and share some great stories. I always learn in person. I learned a lot at lunch, just tidbits. That's excellent. And I really enjoy the affiliation with all these people. So thank you for being here. And everybody that's in my room can just read my notes on the side that are all, just don't worry about my spelling. I am from Alabama. That's why I have this wonderful accent. So hopefully everybody can understand. I work with one guy that's here in the room today, Manny, and I'm privileged. I love my job. I love every day being on a boat, and I thank God every day for my job. And like I said, I get to work with my son and good friends and just wonderful people generally. So today we're going to talk about electronic engine diagnostic equipment. And the idea is I'm hoping that I'll get through this relatively quickly so we can have some discussion. So before we made a decision to buy, we bought the jaw test, and I know that I'm following up the other marine diagnostics I did look at. I just chose this one just because I thought it fit me or the best. And so that's why we went with it. And I wanted something that could carry around and do the diesels. We do a lot of diesels and then not so many outboards where we are. And if I ever wanted to, I could plug in a personal watercraft. So
this is what they're seeing.
Oh, okay. So I can look. Thank you. Okay. Y'all are, it's weird what they're saying. Mm-hmm. Okay. Sorry about that sidebar. I have help up here. So this marine test equipment does a lot more than I am going to do. I want to know the ECMs, but just like the other software, it can reprogram the digital shifts and all that other information. And some of y'all may be into that. I am not. My background is aviation maintenance, and I am very, very familiar with test kits. But as far as I want to, for my business and my surveying, I just want to see what the electronic control modules say and what information they have. So the reason we're using this equipment is value added. And so I did say earlier that my son is involved in this with this business. And he does a lot of, we have two of these computers, two of these systems. He does a lot of boats with high horsepower outboards. And so there's not a lot to inspect on those vessels compared to the bigger diesel boats that we do too. So a value added component of what we do is to we'll hook up the engines and read the any faults or whatever we find. Also, we get called for client asset protection. Somebody calls and says, "Hey, I heard you have this machine. Will you come hook it up?" And you will. The third thing that when I put deciding factor, all I really mean is when you're out there and somebody's choosing between two surveyors, there's just, you have the bonus of having this computer. So just all the reasons we decided with this piece of equipment. And we're always trying to be a step above the rest in training and equipment. When I went to buy the equipment, I wanted to know about support. And the other day I was having a problem and I was with support for 2 hours and they were really working hard for us. And that was really good. And this model is wireless. So it's got Bluetooth. You can leave it in the engine room and go sit in the comfort of the wheelhouse and stay cool or warm. And this brand does pretty much all brands. I'm not here to sell a kit, but I just wanted to, if anybody wanted to see what it looks like, it's just like the other one, the presentation we saw a minute ago. You have a computer and you have the dongles and a case. So that's nothing special there. All right. And actually this slide is pretty, these two companies are pretty close to each other in that they have the guided diagnostics and the operational data. But again, I am wanting what's on the ECM. All right. The diagnostic report that it puts out, I'll show you in a few minutes. And I can attach that in the PDF file that I send to the customer. So, and everybody's happy. Okay. Now we're going to try to, how do I need to, I don't know how to do this. So I'm sorry, I got to take a break. I'm going to jump over to the live data. I need to get out of, to minimize the screen. You know?
Oops. No, unless we do one of these up here.
All right.
Nope.
Well, I built the slideshow without it too, just in case I was having problems.
I'm sorry, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I thought it was easier than this. Okay.
Don't think
That's okay. Okay, so I built this. All right, just click on Joel just right there. All right, are we up? Oh,
no, we got it.
we're not seeing it over there. It's up here, but it's not on. We're not broadcasting it. New share.
Where's that? Oh. Hey, you're so smart. This one?
Yep. Okay, yes. Okay. Now, again, I apologize. I've had a Zoom call 3 times, so this did take a minute. So sorry about that. But so when you open your machine, and this is the first screen you get to, and you click on what vessel you want. The first picture is of a boat. That's an inboard, and obviously the next one's an outboard. The third one would be like generators, stationary engines, the fourth PWC. So on the demo mode, I've got that. We're going to go look at a Cummins. So I'm going to select Cummins. I'm going to just put it's a QSC 8.3. And I want to see the port ECM. We'll hit connect. All right. So this is where I want to get information for my surveys. I want to read fault codes and I want to read system data mainly. So you just click the fault code and it literally will bring up the fault codes. So, and these are all, this company also makes this same test equipment for Cummins truck engines. So some of these faults and some of these items you may see today are what are for a truck engine, because I am in the demo mode. Now, so I have these fault codes and I want to make sure I share these with the customer. So I'm going to click that little arrow, that little check mark, and that saves. So I want to show you over here where I want to go to system, or I want actually operation data. I want the engine operation data. And as you see, then we can also, after that, we'll have something else we're going to look at. I went to data registration, not a big deal. And I want the long-term map because this is going to give me what everybody likes to see when we're surveying and we do a boat. How long has this vessel been running at what % of power? So this boat has, spent 5.3% of its time at wide open throttle. And what's interesting, now that I have this equipment, I see that most of these vessels are spending time at idle. I did one the other day that had about 500 hours, and 350 of those hours were at idle. So, and then I click the arrow there. That's going to save that data so I can print it out later. And then abuse data. So you'll see that it's got the severity of the data as mild, moderate, or high. And then it comes up and says, oh my gosh, you have some severity problems on engine speed, temperature, intake, and some other things. So this now, if I saw a total severity of several items, I might suggest to the my client that, hey, let's get a mechanical survey in here. Let's get a mechanic in here, look at this and see what you have. So I'm gonna save that data. And now I'm gonna back out because that's, I'm gonna disconnect and then I'm gonna make the report. And I know I'm going through this fast and I apologize about that. So we're going to save this as 1, 2, 3. Just got to name it so it'll save it. So it's been created. Now let's go look at it. They're behind, aren't they?
It was doing it. It's lagging a little bit.
And I'm waiting on y'all to catch up. You're behind on the internet. All right, is the report visible on your screen?
This is what they're seeing.
No, we can't see the report.
Okay, some reason it's lagging behind. Thank you. Is it? Okay. So I'm gonna wait another second, see if your screen changes and puts on the reports. It's still not on there.
It's like it's froze.
Well, I prepared for that too. If we can figure out how to get, I've got it on PDF. Save it on a PDF too if I need to.
Do what?
I've got a PDF that I can go to.
Well, it's not updating on theirs. What they can't see anything. This is like 3.
So I gotta wait on you.
Yeah, there's like 3.
All right, we're just waiting on your screen to refresh still.
I don't. No, I don't think it's going to do it. We'll have to just keep rolling.
Okay. So I'll just keep going. So anyway, we're waiting on your screen to show you the report. But so when it comes up, what you're going to see is all the information that we just asked for from the engine serial data number, the fault codes, and all the run history as well as abuse history. That's the report that's trying to load right now. So it makes it nice and easy, like I said, to then show your customer. And also, I was going to talk about the this is an additional revenue stream when we hook this computer up. Sometimes if it's a smaller vessel that has those high power outboards, we're including the computer printout in the pricing when we quote the boat. And then the standalone, I do charge extra for that. The whole system costs around $4,100, but I will say that when no matter who you buy from, you tell them what cords you want. Don't let them sell you, hey, here's the package, because that embarrassed me not too very long ago when I tried to hook up to an engine and I was not prepared and I couldn't hook up to it. So with that being said, I kind of would like to open up for questions, and then I would like to know who has the other systems and how they like them. So,
I have a question.
Manny?
On that report that you're printing out right there, or that you're sending to your client, it's got all that JALTAC information. I mean, is there a way that we can change that? Or is that just on every report, no matter what?
So if you heard Manny, he wanted to know on the report when it finally downloads to you, it has jaw test, and you can put your own logo there. But I have not yet done it.
So that'll come up in every report. Then
Right.
we'll do it on future reports.
Right. So your logo would be on the top of the report if you want to. And Manny, don't you have a computer system?
I do.
What kind do you use?
Oh, goodness. Who else does it?
Help me out here. Renda, yes, thank you, Renda. Renda does not print the reports like that. For simple engine diagnostics, and also for reading out the engine hours, time frames and RPM ranges and so on and so forth. Does a fine job with that. Obviously, one thing I've noticed, because I've used a couple of different ones in the past too, it's also regulated on what the computer will actually tell you. The MEFI4 is going to tell you a lot more information than the MEFI1 and so on and so forth. There's a couple things I dislike. This is a personal thing. I like the way that Brenda does their RPM ranges. They go from 1,000 to 1499, things like that. That seems a little bit odd to me instead of going straight, 500 RPM or whatever it may be. Besides that, I mean, it works okay, but it's very limited. It will do Yamaha or Mercury outboards. It will do small horsepower Yamahas that share the same technology with that Yamaha used to make some small outboards for Mercury. And that stuff will go away. You can read that. Besides that, it's somewhat limited. It doesn't do diesels.
All right, to those that are online watching, is there anybody that has a unit that they enjoy?
So
Yes, sir.
I have this job test, Meta and Renda. I got Renda and Meta first. There's limitations to them on years. So you can only go up to a certain amount of years without buying an additional. So when I saw this and did research, actually one SX as well as this seemed to be a better solution for doing everything from inboard, outboards, diesel, and jet skis, jet boats, and also outboards.
All right.
So it works very well.
And that's what I like. Have we lost the online crowd?
No, we're here.
Okay.
I'm here.
All right. So does anybody have any questions or any comments on electronic testing and pricing and all that? Yes, sir.
We've been using for gasoline engine. Somehow for we've been using, I go back to electronic, which is a 20-year-old system. Still viable, still very viable. And it will give you lots of parameters, but mostly what it does is gives you a leg up on the other surveyor who can't do it. Plus
Right.
you're doing the engine and the boat at the same time. Plus you're charging whatever, $150 an engine for about 11 minutes worth of work. And customer gets more satisfaction, your income stream goes up. And if this unit is $4,500 and you're charging $700 a day, doesn't make it meaningless. Figure out you're getting your investment back very quick.
I agree with that. The return on investment is pretty steep, and I am not putting myself out there as a mechanic. I do have a mechanical background, but I do not do that. And then when I see something that comes up that requires a mechanic, I step aside and say, hey, we got to call in a real mechanic.
And Joel, what you said earlier about generating additional income.
Yeah.
That's the key, because you're comparing yourselves to someone else that does not have software. So that's just giving you more tools in your toolbox to generate more business.
Absolutely. It is another tool in the toolbox for additional revenue. And I don't think I said this a minute ago, but I did get a dealer ask me to come hook up to their boat because they didn't even have a computer to hook up to this particular engine, which I was like, y'all are a big dealer, a big repair shop, and they didn't even have the software to hook up. So you're right.
So just out of curiosity, you talked about.
I have a question.
Okay.
If you're doing this a standalone survey for a pair of engines, what would you cost, or what would the cost be, or what would you charge your customer if that's something you'd like to delve into?
Well, I have only had one call for just this hookup, and I charged $500 for 2-man engines. So what, Bill, what do you charge? What would you charge for a standalone if you just had to go?
About the same, but again, I really don't encourage that. I want to do the boat and the engines all together.
Right.
And then you could add, another $250 per engine to hook up if you want, or like I'm right now, including that into it until I'm really familiar with the diesel part of this software. So
Right.
you can generate as much as you want. I mean, most diesel mechanics are going out there at $650 to $750 an engine. But again, we're not diesel mechanics. We're certified by ABYC as diesel, whatever. But, so it's lower.
Absolutely. Did that answer your question?
Yes, it did. Thank you very much. I appreciate the information.
I didn't mean it like that. You let me talk.
All right. Are there any other questions or comments before I close this session?
What is the program cost?
The program cost is, without the computer, is $4,100. And then there's also a $670 yearly license fee. So as long as you keep paying it, you keep getting all the upgrades. And then I bought a used Tough book, Panasonic Tough book. And I think that was like $500. So roundabout, you're looking at with the year.
Like a laptop?
Yes,
Or
sir.
a tablet?
Yes, this one right here.
I bought mine with the tablet. It was like $6,000 with everything.
Oh, they
But
sold it with it?
Yeah, they do sell it with it.
Mhm.
And I bought about everything that I needed for the marine industry.
Sure.
Jet skis, jet boats, MTU, everything I could think of.
Yeah, and I want to reiterate what Bill just said. If you decide to get any kind of system, you need to, again, tell them which engines you're going to use. Which engines you need to hook up to, because in my neck of the woods, we have a lot of big diesels and a lot of little outboards. So that's something. Is that it? Any other questions? All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Joel.